Everything is good. From
Uh,
your side,
I'm sorry, what was that?
how is everything going from your side?
Everything is going well. Thank you for asking. And thanks for setting up this interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Firstly, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation and allowing me to talk with you.
Absolutely. So, what would you like to talk about?
So, I want to introduce you to my audience. Can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure. Hi there. I'm Casey Loesner. I am the published author of the book series The Eve of Darkness. I'm also a writing coach, and I have a background in mental health.
You're from?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay. So, your book is about?
It's actually a horror series. It's a vampire romance. It takes place in New York with my main character, who is basically she gets turned one night, and she's learning to maneuver her way through as her life changes, and she's trying to figure out family secrets, and she learns that there's a dark prophecy associated with what she's becoming.
Okay. Is that your story or you just created?
Yeah, it's something that I created. Yeah, I actually worked on it since college, so it's been a labor of love. I finally got it published in 2015, so and book two is finished, so I'm in the process of publishing that as well.
Okay. How much time you took to write your first book?
My first book that actually took a long time. I started in 1998 and I didn't publish till 2015, so I kind of sat on it. My husband was actually he was the one that discovered it. He found it in a box and he said, "This is good. You should get this published. Like, get it finished." So I wrote the rest, like wrote and everything, and he was able to get it published for me. So yeah,
Okay. What is the second book is about?
it's a continuation. It's a book series of three books. So it's just continuing Eve's story, my main character. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's about more or less this one is about her knowing who she is. She discovers herself. She makes a lot of enemies along the way, both vampire and human. And it also brings forth another apocalypse. So it's a lot going on, a lot of battles, a lot of craziness. So this book is, I think, more graphic and more action packed than the first one.
Okay, so this is also a fictional story.
Yes, it's fictional.
Okay, why only she? Why not he?
Why not he? Because I wanted a strong female. I've always appreciated strong female leads in books and movies. So I took bits and pieces of my personality and married them with another like character that's very strong and powerful emotionally. So I don't know. I just love Eve. She's becoming something that's bigger than herself, and she's learning to control these new vampire powers as well as hold back some of her dark feelings. So it's a lot of development with that character.
Okay, what is the message that you're sending to the world with your books?
With my books, I guess it's just for people that that horror element that wants to enjoy that. Also to show that women can be strong but also vulnerable. Because I've seen a lot of movies where these characters are so powerful, but they act like they're powerful 24/7. It's impossible. So my character, she's still feminine, she's still very vulnerable, and she still exposes herself to the world and she expresses that she needs to be loved and needs to be guided because she's going through so much.
What is power?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What is powerful?
She's powerful. She's well, as I said before, it's a vampire horror series. So she when she's turned, she is discovering her vampire powers, like strength and speed and all of that. She doesn't understand it and it's scary for her.
Okay, is that possible for you to create impact using the words?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is it powerful? I mean, is it possible for you to create impact using the words without showing any visual?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's weaved through the whole story. I think so.
Who can connect with your imagination?
How can say that again? How can I connect you to my imagination?
Yeah, who can connect with your imagination?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know where these stories come from. It's just, I love writing overall. I love creating worlds and characters and seeing how they would interact with each other. So, and I'm also part of a writing group that I developed called the Kick-Ass Authors Club, and we share resources and we talk about writing and also develop each other and inspire each other, which I love. But we all have crazy imaginations, so I guess that's why we're into the writing field that we're in.
So you said you are a writing coach, and when you started writing, and what actually made you to come into writing?
I've actually been doing it for a long time. I used to write short stories when I was a kid. So, just creating little stories I'd read from my family. I used to do like plays and things like that. So it was cool. I was able to express myself through writing. I think I started when I was about 8. And I used to send my aunt all my little stories, and she would read them. She would enjoy them, and she would encourage me to keep going. So it kind of developed after that. So
Why
yeah.
not? Why not speaking? Why only writing to express your thoughts and feelings?
I'm not a talker. I'm honestly not. I'm more introverted. So I'm a behind the scenes, quiet, observant type of person. So I normally just, kick it and I'm quietly writing. That's the type of person I am. So yeah.
You took almost 20, 15 years to publish your first book.
Why did it take so long?
Yeah.
Because I was introverted and I'm still an introvert at heart. It's just that I'm learning ways to put myself out there and not be so shy and worry about like the world. I used to doubt myself a lot when I was younger. And as I said, my husband was the one that found my manuscript and told me to publish it. Like, if it wasn't for him, I'm pretty sure that thing would still be sitting in the box. I just didn't have the courage at the time to get it published. So he kind of motivated me to do so.
So now you are extrovert.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I'm still an introvert, but I have some, I guess, extrovert characteristics, meaning that I'm comfortable now talking because this type of video thing, it would not be comfortable for me. Like I would be shaking and terrified and all that, but I made myself do videos on my own page to help other writers because I know how it is trying to get out of your shell. So, yeah, I learned a lot.
What is the response that you got for the first book that you published?
The first book, honestly, I kind of died in the water because I didn't do the marketing piece of it. Because with this type of industry, it's a dog eat dog world, and you have to be able to put yourself out there. And since I was very quiet and shy and reserved, it didn't really it didn't really help being that way. So what I'm doing currently now is I'm gonna have a re-release with the second book so that people know that it's a series and it's more connected. So that's what I'm planning right now.
So what actually inspired you to write a book? What is your inspiration?
My inspiration, honestly, I would say just my aunt. She really encouraged me. My dad also encouraged me too because I always had a wild imagination ever since I was little. And when I was in college, it was just a thing. I just started writing, and I just wanted to keep going because I had 30 pages and then all of a sudden I had 50 and I just wanted to, finish the story. So it was other people, motivating and inspiring me at the same time, encouraging me to keep going.
What is the unique thing that the readers can find in your book that they cannot find in any other book?
I think with my vampires, it's been done differently. I've seen different vampire movies where their eyes would go a certain color where nobody talked about it. So my vampires are strictly they have different powers according to their eye color. Like for instance, I have vampires that have green eyes and they have snake animality, like a snake animalistic sense. Like they can do a snake coil, like to crush their prey. They can inject neurotoxin, and they can spit acid. So it's different types of vampires that I have versus just the run of the mill, bloodsuckers. These are different. They're more predatorial type reading.
Can I say you're more into violence?
Would you say I'm more into violence? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
You know what? I've always loved the horror industry ever since I was a kid. I used to like sneak downstairs and watch the movies like um Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. So I've always loved that type of genre, and I think that's why I write in it, because my books are not gruesome. Um they're a little bloody, but they're not crazy over the top like creepy. Um so I've always been intrigued by vampires and different type of supernatural creatures like werewolves and things like that. So I think that's why it kind of spilled over into my story.
You watched horror movies and decided to write the book using about this genre. Is it possible for you to create the emotion called fear using the vocabulary that you have?
I'm sorry, repeat the last part of that. I didn't hear the type
I
of
mean,
book.
yeah. Do you think that you can create impact or you can create emotion using the vocabulary that you have?
I think so. I think so. I've gotten a lot of feedback with my main character, and a lot of people identify with her, simply because as a woman, being put into a world they don't quite understand, and secrets and things bubble up to the surface, I think we'd all react, in certain ways. I think so. I think with emotion and people actually reading it, they'll be able to connect to the characters, because I always try to write characters that people with versus just read. I want them to be able to put themselves in that character's situation and discover bits of the character and bits of themselves along the way when they write.
What are the reactions that you got for your first book?
A lot of people said it was haunting, it was fun. A lot of people said they can't wait to see what happens in the second one, because what I do with the series now is I've been leaving people at a cliffhanger, so they want to read the next book. Like, you don't know if somebody died or if they're gonna live in the first one, and I think that's what drives them to want to see more, because it was a pretty crazy cliffhanger at the first one.
What is the best time that you write your book
The
in a
best,
day?
right?
Yeah.
I'm weird. Like, I try to schedule my times to write. Generally it's on the weekends, but sometimes inspiration hits and I keep a notebook by my bed and I dictate a lot of things that I come up with. Sometimes I could be just sitting normally or doing something and I'll get inspired to write like a certain scene, or something might make more sense, if I write it down or add it to my book. So it comes in spurts, but I do try to schedule it when I can.
So it is completely a created story, not connected with the real story.
I'm sorry, with the series?
It is completely a created story. It is
Yes.
not a real story.
No, it's not. It's completely fictitious, and it's from my so yeah.
So you're good in creating emotions.
I think so. I think so. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think so.
Have
Um,
you have you used any images in
have I
your
used
book?
any?
Any images, any photos in your book?
No images were used. Just the front cover. Yeah.
Okay. Only the words that will create impact.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, so what is the next book that you are going to release, other than the second one?
The third one, and that will be the last of the series. I can't wait to be done this series, honestly, because I didn't think writing a series would be so difficult, because you have to connect everything and you have to make sure everything is cohesive. Because if you, for instance, you have a character with curly hair and dark eyes, they have to follow the same thing in the next book. And you have to connect them in such a way where if somebody picks up the second book, they can automatically understand what the story is about. So you have to give a really good recap so that they would understand it. So I didn't know it was so many things involved in doing a book series and how tough it is connecting everything.
Do you take responses and reactions seriously?
To take responses and reactions seriously, like according to what I wrote.
Yeah.
Reviews, like, I mean, there's going to be good reviews and bad reviews regardless of what you do. Not everybody's going to like what you do. So, like, I'm pretty good at handling criticism, I think. Like, if somebody was to tell me, well, I didn't like how that was, or I didn't get that part of it, I would take that into consideration and make sure that the next book, was a little bit better.
Okay. So you're a full-time writer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So how much time you spend your life on writing?
Well, I also do freelance work. So I'd say, well, to do my novels, maybe like 2-3 hours a day. I also do freelancing where I work with a web development company and I do a lot of content writing for them. And besides that, I have my writing groups. I have two of them, the Kick-Ass Authors Club, and I have another small one that I formed called the newbie writers. And those are the introverted writers that are just like me that need to get their book out there, but they're a little afraid. So they need some hand holding and some guidance. So I'm doing that as well. So with all those things together, it keeps me busy throughout the day.
What is writing to you?
Writing is like breathing. I need it. Like it's become so much, so much of a part of me, whether it's journaling or just telling a story or helping others tell their story. So it's second nature to me. It's something that I enjoy and it's full of passion when I write and I just overall enjoy it. It's my element. It's where I'm happiest.
How many words your first book contains?
My first book, I think it was about 117,000. Yeah,
Okay. So your expressions, you are expressing through writing.
right.
So the people around you, what did they said when you started expressing your emotions using the words, not with the vocal cord?
What did people say about that?
Yeah.
They saw, well, my main character, they saw that bits and pieces of me in her, but they also saw that somebody that I wanted to be because my main character is extroverted. She's very she knows, her business and she has friends and a circle of friends and she's just kind of dominant in the career that she has. So I've always wanted to be that bold. So I think when people look at it, it's somebody that they aspire to be if they're introverted. I'm speaking to mostly an introverted audience that reads my book more or less.
Okay. What is your goal in your life?
My goal, honestly, right now, I'm looking into traditional publishing because I published initially as an indie author, independent author. So instead of spending, tons of money trying to be independent, I would like an agent to represent me. That way they can worry about the marketing and all of that, and it's not left on my shoulders. So I think my goal would be to get my series under an agent and have them do all of the advertising and promotions and such. And I would really love for it to become a movie, honestly. I don't think there's any writer out there who wouldn't. So, because it's unique, it's not the same type of, vampire story. So I think it's different and it explores like clans and powers and witchcraft, all kinds of different elements are in there, as well as other supernatural creatures. So
Do you have anything to say to the people, to the writers, authors who are watching this video from any part of this planet?
sure, just to keep going and don't let anything stop you because I've let a lot of things, interrupt me or stop me along the way, but have people in your corner that are positive and people that are like-minded like you and want to be published and stick around those people, stay within communities that are supportive of you. And if you always want to, if they want to, they can always join the Kick-Ass Authors Club. So that's something they could do too for extra motivation and inspiration.
Any writing tips to them?
Writing tips, I would say if they're going to publish independently, make sure you do your research. Make sure you research the publishing houses that you go to because there's a lot of scams out there waiting and preying on people and stealing stories. So I would say research, research, research. That's like major.
So what is the unique thing that you have and that other writers don't have?
A unique thing that I have that writers don't have. I really couldn't speak on that because I think every writer brings something unique to the table. And also I could see that within my group. Everyone works together, which I love. The writing community, it's a double-edged sword. Some of the communities can be very supportive of you and others not so much because I've joined communities that didn't really care about you. So I do with my groups, I do actual discussions with them twice a week. They get information, they get challenged. So I use bits of my coaching within my groups because I notice that's very effective. We talk about goal planning and mantras and um, how to basically reshape their Instagram to where they're promoting themselves. So it's a lot of information that we share amongst each other.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for giving your valuable time and telling about a lot of things.
Thank you, Sai. I appreciate you reaching out and offering me this opportunity for it. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Keep writing, keep inspiring people.
Thank you, and you continue doing what you're doing. I appreciate you because you support other people. So I do thank you. And you take care.
You too, yeah too. So
Thank
thank you so
you.
much again.
Bye bye.
Bye.